Filming 2 videos in the same day. Organized. There are a number of investments that cinematographers, that camera assistants, that anybody really in camera department can make to their careers. Wireless transmission is a relatively new one, but it's a really cool one. Having your own wireless transmitters as a DP or as a videographer can be really useful if you want to minimize your setups. And as a camera assistant, having your own wireless can be really good so you can set up your own monitor wirelessly and focus from a distance. There are so many on the market, it can be really hard to decide which one to choose from, which one has the right specs for you. But for this video, I wanted to focus on one in particular, and that is the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro. I'm going to focus on this one from the point of view of a cinematographer, because I will say flat out that I do not think this is a suitable option for a camera assistant simply because of the latency. It's there, it's not that bad, but it's bad enough to be a pain for a camera assistant. If you're trying to focus from the monitor, or even just focusing in general, it can throw you off quite significantly. If you are a focus puller looking for a wireless unit, I'll tell you flat out, have a look for one with zero latency. There are a number of them on the market. Now, recently, you'll know that I've been away. I was away for a significant amount of time. That's because I was working on a series. I was working day in, day out camera opping for that. On that particular job, we actually had a Hollyland on set. We had the Hollyland 400S, not the Pro. During production though, Hollyland did reach out and they actually sent out the Pro version, so I got to kind of see roughly side by side what they were like. At home I got to play around with the 400S Pro, and then at work I got to play around with the 400S. I can kind of tell you the reasons why I think that it is a good investment, especially if you're a little bit more budget conscious for DPs or videographers. Firstly, HDMI and SDI. You don't need a converter. If you've got a camera that only has HDMI and then you've got a monitor that only has HD SDI, you can cross-convert it. That means you can pretty much use any camera, big or small, meaning I could do something like I did on the series, where I had a Pocket 6K, like I've got here, and I had the Hollyland on top. It was running HDMI, obviously, out of the camera and into the Hollyland, and then on the other end, we had a monitor that had HD SDI instead, so we were able to use that monitor using my camera without cross-converting the signal. You cannot believe how much of a headache that has been on other shoots. Secondly, high quality image and signal range. The image quality coming out of the 400S Pro is awesome. I didn't actually get to see a proper side-by-side compared to the 400S and the 400S Pro, but there is a tiny difference in the bits. The signal range and the reliability is something that I really noted, especially when working in a professional environment. We were working a lot on a lot of different locations that were kind of cramped, a lot of having the split in another room and shooting with the door closed and things like that. So signal often got interrupted, and I did notice that we did have on a camera a Teradek. Now granted, it was an older version of a Teradek, but that would constantly be dropping out, whereas the Hollyland would hold signal quite well. I mean, the Teradek was even dropping out with line of sight, so I don't know. I was really impressed by the Hollyland. The only place it really got sketchy was through closed doors, but that's kind of expected. In my testing with the 400S Pro, it was pretty much the same as on set. I was experiencing exactly the same stuff. The third reason is multiple displays. You can obviously have another receiver if you want to, and you can put it onto a different monitor and split that off to another crew member who might need it. Sometimes when you're a DP, more often than not when you're a videographer, you need to split off the image to multiple people. It can get a bit much, it can be a headache, but Hollyland has come with the goods. If you don't have another receiver to do that sort of thing and you want to split it off, you can actually access it via their app and you can get the streamed live footage on an app. It works on Android, it works on iOS, and you can just hand that off to whoever needs it. We actually found ourselves using this feature a lot on set. It was a lifesaver pretty much, because I was B camera, and often, you know, like I said, we're working in small environments, it's very cramped, it's kind of hard for the DP to get over to me to have a look at my shot, to make sure that it's what he wanted, to give corrections if needed. So our camera assistant would pull out his phone, he would access the app, he would be able to access the transmitter, get the footage on the phone, and show my framing to the DP. Then the DP could hold his phone, have a look at what was going on, and then tell me what he needed. It was just really easy for him to be able to sit by his camera and not have to walk around the room or walk out of the room or even stand behind the director. Like, he could just stand where he was and see exactly what I was doing. 4, I want to touch on usability and design. Overall, the usability of the 400S Pro, really good. It's really easy to use, nice big display, easy to see, easy to change channels, menu menu is very straightforward, very easy to maneuver. The power options are also really open as well, so you can do USB-C, you can do NPF battery, you can also do DC power, you can also get D-tap cables. Now I will say that this is a bit of a bummer because they're not included in the kit. I feel like that's something that should be included in the kit. I don't know if maybe that's asking too much. That's just me though, that's my one gripe with this kit. Having all of these power options means versatility, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about having a lot of options, a lot of versatility in my kit in order to adapt to lots of different situations, because that's all filmmaking is, it's problem solving, and if you have equipment that can problem solve for you, it's better. It also makes it easier when adapting to larger cameras, so you can have it on the smallest of cameras and you can have it on the largest of cameras, and you can change over those power systems and those setups with ease. Final comment on design, it looks bloody robust. Like, it looks like it's not gonna break. It looks like I could throw it on the ground and it would be fine. I'm not gonna try that, but it does look like it's gonna hold up in terms of wear. Editing flick here, I lied. There is actually one more thing I didn't really enjoy about the 400S Pro, and that is the power button. The power button is a little bit hard to push in and to turn off. I don't like the push button motion. I think it's much better to have a switch and have a solid switch at that, something like the one that is on the 400S. All of these things that I've touched on have come up at one point or another over the course of the last 5 or 6 weeks working with the Hollyland 400S and 400S Pro professionally, in a professional setup. And personally, after having this sort of time with it, I really do think it is a good option if you're looking for something that's a bit more budget friendly and you're maybe a videographer who's needing to split off to a client or a director, or you're a DP and you want to invest in something small for your kit to start out with. To be honest, it's for anybody who really wants to streamline their setups and really who wants to be running cables everywhere, especially if you're doing a lot of handheld. It can be a real pain. Massive thank you to Hollyland for sending out the 400S Pro. It's been a fantastic experience being able to show you guys its usage in a professional setting, because I think it's really interesting to see this sort of perspective on YouTube, especially when these tools can be so helpful to professional workflows. Link of the week this week is the Food Angels Mutual Aid. The Food Angels Mutual Aid is a community effort run by a group of LGBTQIA+ people supporting queer and gender diverse people in need with warm homemade meals. You can check out the link below to their Instagram. You can also have a look at their donation link. It is in their bio. There's a bunch of other resources in there as well which you can learn from. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you next time.